this debt, this destruction.
Global news impacts us.
We have to change the way we live. This is why we need independent media.
Fat Tony, I mean Cenk Uygur, is back in the news today. You know, he is the host of that progressive channel called TYT. And recently he was on Mediaite, where he made a very asinine statement, which is very Cenk Uygur at this point, dictating who is a leftist and who's not a leftist, pointing fingers and saying they're grifters or they're doing this, especially being on social media, as just a way to make money and not really speak truth to power. Now, he called out Greenwald, he called out Jimmy Dore, as always, and even called out Briahna Joy Gray. Now, I want to make it very clear here. It wasn't too long ago where Cenk was singing the praises of Glenn Greenwald, Briahna Joy Gray, and yes, Jimmy Dore, who was once part of TYT. You see, the thing is, we all have different perspectives and points of view. Lauren, we have different perspectives and points of view. But I'm not going to sit here and tell anyone who is a leftist and who is not a leftist. We all have different perspectives and points of view, and the only way we can actually go forward is, okay, tell me your perspective. What is going on? What do you see that I don't see? I won't automatically say cancel this, cancel that. Same thing for our audience. When we give you these stories, when we tell you what we're covering, we're expecting all of you to make your own decisions, and if there's something we're missing, because I'm pretty sure we have said things on this show that a lot of you don't agree with, and we hear it out. Take, for example, Roger Meadows. He's convinced me worker co-ops is a better idea, and not to mention abolish all parties, not just third parties, but people should be running as non-affiliates.
I agree. People should be running based on issues and people should be voting.
Right.
Based on those issues as well instead of the parties.
Exactly. And for a long time on the show, I was a huge proponent of third parties. I still am. I'll vote third party over Democrat or Republican, but from this perspective, independent non-affiliates, that's the better pathway to go, because even then, let's say third parties actually start getting prominence. What's stopping them from being corrupted, just like the Democratic and Republican Party? And when it comes on the worker co-ops, I had no idea really their effectiveness and what they can do. I mean, I'm all for unions, but from everything I've been hearing about worker co-ops and what they can do for workers, it seems like the better path. Now, with that being said, we're going to play this video of Cenk Uygur, the mighty Cenk, dictating who is left, who is part of the leftist movement, and who is not. Hang on, brace yourself, folks. You're going to get a brain aneurysm. Let's play it.
The mainstream media is disgusting in how they shut out progressives. In terms of the right wing, no. Briahna Joy Gray, unfortunately, is one of the people that are in the fake left. And so this has become a whole niche part of the industry. So Jimmy Dore, Glenn Greenwald, Briahna Joy Gray, and a couple of others in there that are, to be fair to Dave Rubin, he started this whole thing. The fake left saying, oh, well, you know, I'm a classical liberal. I'm a progressive, but it turns out the right wing's right about everything. Okay, so that's the shtick that they do, and they go on Tucker's show, and they dance for him, and so it's disgusting. They're not the real left, and here's how you can tell: they never disagree with Tucker.
Okay,
the mainstream media is disgusting.
Let's pause here because the video is going to be repeating itself. Now, I've seen the videos of Jimmy Dore on Tucker Carlson's show. He's calling out the hypocrisy of the two-party system, and with the Democrats. Yeah, he's going to call him out because the Republican Party is might as well low-hanging fruit. We know what to expect from the Republican Party.
It's so easy to point fingers and point out what the Republican Party is messing up.
I mean, we know. We know how bad the GOP is. But the Democratic Party allows their incompetence to continue on. When in all reality, they are correct on a lot of issues, or say they're correct on a lot of issues, but they never take that initiative. So it's only fair that we see the pushback from people like Briahna Joy Gray and Glenn Greenwald. Glenn Greenwald recently posted a video, it was only like 15 seconds long, of Cenk Uygur praising him for his great work as an investigative reporter.
Well, like, is he expecting them to go on Tucker's show and then just, like, scream at him and make an ass of themselves? But, like, you know, you go onto a show that has an audience that doesn't agree with you, and you act like a civilized human being, and then they're like, oh, I kind of like this person, and then they check out your stuff.
Right.
Like, then you can get new audience members that way, and then make them force them to think outside of their little box. I think it's a brilliant idea to be polite on a show, the host of which you don't agree with.
And look, let's be very clear here. Whether you like Tucker Carlson or not, he has one of the most popular shows in cable media. His show is number one.
Quite an audience.
A large audience. And look, if you could even change, let's say, half that audience's perspectives, because remember, Bernie Sanders did a town hall on Fox News during the 2020 primary. It was the most watched primary or debate town hall that was done during that election cycle. And so many people were saying Bernie Sanders is now a right-winger. Duh. So let's play this video because Briahna Joy Gray makes a response.
Crystal is on to something. The Republican Party is performative populism covering for unabashed oligarchy. What both he and AOC fail to say, though, is that it's not just Republicans. It is crucial that people who understand that establishment politics are broken not pull punches when it comes to holding one side or the other accountable. It might be Lindsey Graham trying to cut Social Security and Medicare this week, but as David Sirota pointed out in The Lever, a dozen years ago, Barack Obama and Vice President Biden held a ceremony at the White House to announce a commission to try to slash Social Security and Medicare, but for a sustained campaign led by Bernie Sanders, which included a threat to primary Barack Obama, Democrats might have succeeded. Too often, efforts to make life harder for working people are bipartisan efforts, and partisan sniping allows establishment politicians to pass off blame like a hot potato, while no one is ever held accountable. Is Biden doing enough to address inflation? No. But are Republicans offering a viable solution? Also no. Moreover, those of us in the media who are willing to point this out are often attacked by establishment punditry, accused of being in the tank for the other side, even as our criticisms are bipartisan. Wanting to hold Biden accountable to his campaign promises might get you called the Candace Owens of the left, at least if you're black. Explaining why Tucker Carlson is appealing to so many viewers recently caused the co-founder of a popular left media site to accuse me of not being a leftist.
She didn't say his name.
No, she didn't.
No, because see, the thing is, there was a time, very short time, very small window, where Cenk Uygur, TYT, people would have said his name. It was just a co-founder, of a popular left-wing show on YouTube. And I think that's how TYT has now evolved itself into. It's now just a left-wing show on YouTube. Nothing too grandiose. But Cenk, how's that Katzenberg cast doing? Whatever happened to that investigative, those 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, those investigative reporters? What happened to that $2 million? What happened? I wonder. Let's play the rest of that.
Just at all yesterday.
The mainstream media is disgusting in how they shut out progressives. In terms of the right wing, no. Briahna Joy Gray, unfortunately, is one of the people that are in the fake left. And so this has become a whole niche part of the industry. So Jimmy Dore, Glenn Greenwald, Briahna Joy Gray, and a couple of others in there.
Oh, well.
Sorry, go on. Didn't mean to interrupt you.
I wasn't expecting that boss move at the end there. I love it. I just thought it was very funny that he's like inventing a new term on the spot, on air, in the fake left, because he couldn't even get the thought out. He had to go back and qualify it really quick.
Yeah, and then fake left.
Okay, you just made that up.
Yes, he pulled it right out of his rear end, and I'm being a gentleman about that. So there you go. But it's again, look, Briahna Joy Gray was part of the Bernie Sanders campaign, not once but twice, Janky. Okay, so before anyone starts to, because I will not sit here on this show and dictate who is this and who is that. Look, show me what you're going to do. I want to see action, not statements, deeds, not words. Make something happen. Show me what you're going to do. Show me how you're going to fight. I don't care what party. Look, because on this show, if a Republican politician does something good, like talking about free speech or Medicare for all, it's a rarity we'll ever see that, but let's say we do see that. Okay, I'll acknowledge the same thing with are Democratic lawmakers. They do something good, fine. It's once in a rare blue moon. I'll call it out. But I'll still demand one thing. I want to see change. I want to get money out of politics. And we should abolish all political parties. And at this point, you know, I've been very clear with what I want. And I'm going to make my other statement too. I want to see a rise of more citizen journalists. I want to see more people like yourselves stepping up, no matter what part of the country you're in, to actually bring up more independent media, because that's what we need to see in this world. And we need to see people calling out both parties, because both parties are filled with frauds. I want to pull up this tweet from Jimmy Dore, who again has been smeared by Cenk Uygur so many times. When anti-Assange, union busting buster who is in bed with billionaire Clinton donors calls you fake progressive, that's a win. Cenk Uygur lost all his progressive cred when he sided with politicians over healthcare activists during the Force the Vote. He thinks this will help. It won't. And he's right. Jimmy Dore is correct. That's why, you know, a lot of these quote-unquote leftists are so upset about him possibly maybe making a run for president with the People's Party. I mean, we'll see. Jimmy Dore has yet to make that announcement. We covered it on the show on Monday. As far as I'm concerned, you know, hey, go for it, Jimmy. But if not, look at how people are so upset that Jimmy is thinking about running in the 2024 election as an independent.
I mean, wouldn't be the most ridiculous candidate out there running in the 2024 election.
Yeah, true. And if we have senile Biden and Trump running,
yeah,
it's like
right?
it's like two old men arguing over a bowl of soup. So there we go. Now, I want to play this video analysis from Sabrina. She, again, fantastic work. If you're not subscribed to her YouTube channel or Revolutionary Blackout Network, please do so. In fact, double check and triple check that you're still subscribed. Also, make sure you're still subscribed to Hard Lens Media, of course. Let's go ahead and play this video of the wonderful, outstanding Sabrina, actually talking about this statement where Cenk Uygur is defining who is leftist and who is not. Let's play it.
Uygur is calling other people fake leftists. Union busting Cenk Uygur. I don't feel like he's genuine. I don't feel like he's sincere. I don't agree with Tucker Carlson on 99.8% of things. I thought the whole idea of being on the left was to increase the left. I thought the whole idea was to get this message across to as many people as possible, whether there's a campaign attached to it or not. You're not going to do that if you only talk to people on the left. I think part of the problem that we have on the left is that we have allowed the TYT network, and I say network, not just that show, but everybody up under that TYT network. We allowed them to define what it means to be a leftist. We allowed them to define what it means to be progressive. We did. They were one of the first big independent media networks. You got to remember, Cenk was a co-founder of Justice Democrats. That's the model that they go by. And when you start talking outside of that model, they're going to smear you. And once you start telling people, maybe we shouldn't look at these issues as left versus right. Maybe we need to look at the class issue, which is something I say a lot. Once you take the focus away from that Justice Democrat strategy, then they come after you because you are now a threat. So let's talk about being progressive. So if you go on praising about Chris Smalls and what he did with the Amazon workers, but you yourself are a union buster, I would say that you're a fake leftist.
Hey, hard to argue.
Fair point. She's right. Like,
so again, here I gotta keep it real. Look, I used to watch TYT, and let's be very clear here about this too. TYT was one of the first major networks to really be something different than what we see from the mainstream media. But after the 2016 election, especially when TYT got that Katzenberg cash, there was a big shift. And you know what? I want to quote myself and even Daniel when we brought this up, when we talked about the documentary, film Mad as Hell, which was about TYT. This is something that maybe they were always going to do. This isn't a surprising reveal or something out of a soap opera. We're like, oh, shocker. TYT was going to go down this path, whether we all knew it or not. But the thing is, their message, their reporting, the way they cover stories, we just can't carry water for the Democratic Party. And it's correct to really be critical of the Democratic Party because they always help out the GOP. They're friends with each other. The Republican politicians, the Democratic politicians are friends, and their owners, their donors, control them. Same thing the way they control the media. You gotta call them out. We can't play nice. I'm tired of seeing tweets from these, especially from progressive lawmakers, where they say, hey, what does Medicare for all mean for you? What does UBI mean for you? What does student debt forgiveness mean for you? It means the world to a lot of people. But you're not doing anything about it. And pushing Biden to the left ain't going to work. And this whole idea when you hear from Fox News that Biden's is communist. What? Fox News, look. Sometimes you're getting close to the touchdown, and then like the big brain idiots that you are, you drop trowel and take a dump and say you hit a home run. So there we go. That's my analogy on Fox News.
I mean,
keep it together. Don't laugh. Don't laugh. Everyone, don't you dare laugh. It's serious. I'm sorry. All right. Anyways, so how do we end this segment? Well, with an outstanding collage video from the wonderful Joe. Now, if you haven't been following him on Twitter, you can find his link in the description box below and in the show notes. But again, hey, Jimmy Dore is calling out the hypocrisy of TYT. And at the end of the day, where's Jimmy Dore wrong? Let's play this video.
The anti-war option if he ends up running for re-election, I guess.
And now someone will clip this like they did last time to make it look like somehow I'm telling people to vote for DeSantis. And which I expect people to do. What I don't expect is for grown-ups to fall for it.
He avoided Trump stories like it was the plague during the Trump administration.
First thing we got right here. First of all, we have a failure to communicate.
This is your party. This is exactly who you guys have been since Nixon. This is the 30 years of the Southern strategy.
Because now your main job is to fillet Republicans all day long. I hope you're having fun.
The Southern strategy, which was invented by Richard Nixon, which was just scaring white people about black people to get them to vote for Republicans.
But over the years, his content started to shift. He never criticized Republicans.
I don't criticize Democrats because I favor Republicans. I criticize Democrats because they favor Republicans.
But the reason why Jimmy Dore is deceiving his audience is because he wants them to vote Republican.
We have a failure to communicate.
He wants them to support Donald Trump.
Nowhere in the Jimmy Dore show have I ever heard Jimmy say, vote Republican, vote for the GOP, because he's not for either of the two parties. I want to make it very clear on this. We are critical of the Democratic Party. I'm not going to tell you how to vote. Whoever's watching this, whether you're a Republican voter, Democratic voter, Independent, vote however you feel like. But if you vote for the Democratic Party or if you vote for the Republican Party, know this. Those politicians don't like you. They don't think about you. They don't respect you. You will never have a seat at their table. And if you're only doing it just for team politics, then you're a sucker. I'm sorry. If you're a Republican voter that votes Republican, Democratic voter that votes Democrat, you're a sucker because the politicians don't like you. Let's play the rest of the video.
If he runs in 2024.
And now you know why you have to stop voting for Republicans and Democrats.
That's lying to your audience on purpose for money like a whore.
All he did was focus on Democrats.
Like a whore.
Nothing has changed because of Trump.
But now he's going to help you out and just admit.
Like a whore.
Yeah, I think that maybe you should consider supporting Republicans.
It's time to start voting third party, no matter what the third party is. You got to stop giving your vote to these two corrupt, murderous parties.
But the idea that you can sort of just quantify that Donald Trump was less pro-war than Joe Biden is just absurd.
Who pulled us out of Afghanistan? I'm just interested about that question. Which president? Which president?
President Joe Biden when pulling out of Afghanistan while committing billions in funds to troops in Ukraine, Israel, and Somalia. So we're in forever war. It's never stopping. This is a death economy.
His whole railing against the duopoly and not voting out of fear, the lesser of two evils, was really just to get a way to get people to not vote for the best shot at getting left-wing proposals enacted.
What the fuck?
I just don't think, what's the worldview?
What the fuck? Are you fucking on drugs?
Blunders. Earmuffs.
He's sitting there trying to help the Republican Party in every single way like a whore because he loves Trump so much and he thinks he's so anti-war. Like a whore.
You would think it would be 57 progressives voting against it. But that's what I mean about the flip. Now, instead of having 57 progressives vote against war, we have 57 right-wing conservatives vote against war.
I mean, if you think Jimmy Dore is a leftist at this point, you need to get your head checked too. He wants to sheepdog people into the Republican Party.
Like a whore.
How you still don't think he's a con man? You just want a fake hero. I get it. Everybody wants a hero. I wanted Bernie. Bernie was my hero in 2015, 16. I know what that's like. But you got to face the music when you see who they really are. Bernie has proved over and over again he won't actually cross the establishment. So does Donald Trump.
Right, so I think that's the final note for this segment. Look, it's not right to dictate who is left and who's right, who is correct on certain issues. Here's the thing. The two-party system has been screwing us over, and Briahna Joy Gray, Glenn Greenwald, Jimmy Dore, and so many others have been speaking truth to power. And if TYT can't wrap its head around it and that they've lost the message, well, then it's time to move on. Lauren?
We never should have had a two-party system in the first place. I think that things would go a lot smoother for our country if we were able to vote on issues instead of people, and then have some kind of way to, you vote on the issue and you don't know who you're voting for, you just know what you're voting for.
Yeah.
And then, at the end, whoever has those policies, that's who wins.
Agreed.
The two-party system was never, ever, ever going to work. Washington knew that.